Welcome to Hackster Café. My guest this week is Eyal from Cito.io, which is a tool that helps you build and program your own circuits with a drag and drop interface that's really convenient. Eyal, do you want to tell us a little more?
Yeah, of course. Hi, Alex. Thank you for having me here. Cito is a tool for makers, and it comes to help them create a project. So when you're coming to create a new project and use maybe hardware that you haven't used before, or a combination of hardware components that you didn't use before, then you come into Circuito and you choose the components you want to use, and we know how to generate automatically for you all the wiring and code that you need for this project. So we are like your electrical engineer and your software developer, giving you a starting point for your project, which allows you to complete it more easily.
Awesome. So let's have a look at the interface. Do you want to show it off?
Yeah, of course. So welcome to Circuito, and let's build a project together. And the idea here is that you define the components you want to use in high level, and we take care of all the technicalities for you. So I was thinking maybe we will build like a water irrigation system for an exemplary project, but you can really make a lot of different things with it. And let's imagine what we'd like to have on our system. So if we're building an irrigation system, maybe we want to know the soil moisture level, so we know when it's time to irrigate and when it's time to stop the irrigation. We happen to have a soil moisture sensor, so I'm just going to drag it into the project here as an input for our project. And finally, I guess we want to control something, so let's control a water valve, a solenoid valve that will be able to turn on and off the irrigation. And maybe we want a push button for our project, so we can also tell it to start or stop or something like that. And maybe you have a pump or anything else that needs a relay to work, to toggle it, so I can also add a relay to the project. And we have quite a selection of components here, and of course we're all the time working hard on adding more components. But I guess this makes sense for a simple water irrigation system. I can also add IoT components, like connectivity components. Maybe I want to control it with the Wi-Fi or from Bluetooth phone or something like that. But let's keep it simple for now and just make this project.
It's so cool how they're all color-coded.
Ah, thank you. Compliments to Do, our UX guy.
Nice.
And we can choose, maybe we want to use a different controller. Today we support mainly the Arduino family, but I think Uno is a really great controller for this project. So I'm just gonna punch here my email. And let's see what we get. So now the system behind the scene is calculating the best possible wiring for this project, and it's taking care of satisfying all the electrical requirements of each component. And we will soon see how it shows it. But just like a side note, that when we first started out trying to learn whether users actually want our service, there was somebody behind the scenes manually answering every question.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, now it's a lot quicker.
Cool.
And just a quick overview of what we get here. So the first thing we get is the complete bill of materials or list of parts that we need for our project. The second thing is the step-by-step wiring on how to build this circuit. And the last important thing we get is a boilerplate code for this project, which has everything you need to start. So let's go and see this in greater details. The list of components have the components that we asked for, like the Arduino Uno and the relay, but it also has some things that we didn't ask for, like the N-channel MOSFET and the resistors and the diodes and stuff. And this is our magic. I mean, the system That's it. The system automatically calculates everything you need to make everything work without you worrying about anything. So this is our promise to you that we are doing our best to make everything work for you out of the box. And we are building the circuit showing all the auxiliary components. So you can see, for example, the push button. It's best to use it with a resistor. So we have the resistor. We have the diode for pushback hands from the solenoid valve and the MOSFET to drive the solenoid valve. Really things you don't need to know about that we know about, and we take care of it for you. And you can just go and build a circuit using the step-by-step and see all the wiring and stuff. Until you get to the last step where everything should be working, and we are trying to make it very readable and place it on a breadboard, so it's very easy for prototyping. But if you want to do it your own way, then there is also like a text here showing you every step what you need to do to connect the soil moisture signal to the Arduino Uno A0. So
That's so cool.
So this is where you build the circuit, and once you build the circuit, you probably want to see it working. It's always nice to see something working. And code we provide you already has all the drivers you need for the components that you chose. So for example, maybe the soil moisture. Well, the soil moisture is just reading the analog values. Let's see if there's something more interesting here. These components are pretty simple what we chose, but you get all the drivers you need. And because we made a wiring for you, then we also know where each component goes on the breadboard and and where it goes on the controller. So we can already insert this information into the firmware. Everything is ready for you. And the main logic we provide you with is it's not an irrigation system, but it's an exemplary on how to use all the components you chose. And it allows you to take over from this point and do it quite easily because you choose the push button and the soil moisture. We show you how to read the state and the values and turn the solenoid on and off and turn the relay on and off. So that's a great starting point for the project.
Yeah. And it's so heavily commented that even if someone hasn't used these components before, they can really sort of get in here and start tweaking it to make it do what they want.
Yeah, that's what we try to do. We try to do everything as convenient and as fast as possible for our users because that's our promise. We're trying to save you the time of reading through the specs of every component and going through online forums and finding the best piece of code. We're doing this for you.
That's so cool. And this, there's so many ways that obviously you can interact by asking for help or reporting things that are wrong with the section, or even in the previous step, you can suggest new components to add. So what's the most helpful thing that people can do to help build this?
So today we have a new thing that we are asking the community for. I mean, the hardest thing is creating more components, adding them to the system, and we are trying to do a community effort where people would help us, help others by adding more components into the system. And we have this interface where you can either suggest components that we will add them to the system and do the work, or even if you're willing to help us, then you can already enter some information that saves us a lot of time. So let's see this example, like somebody going into the system and asking for us to add a flow sensor into the system. Already defines how to communicate with this sensor using the analog signal and saying that it needs a voltage, a 5-volt voltage for it to operate. And this saves us time, and then together we can create more components and expand the systems as fast as we can. And of course, everything is free here. I mean, we don't charge any money for anything. And everything is open source, so you can download it and modify it further.
And how many people do you have on your team now?
Today we are already 11 people, like we are makers, industrial designers, and of course software developers, hardware developers, all working together towards this end.
Awesome.
But we learned the hard way, like many other entrepreneurs that you have to like clearly define the pains and know your audience and know the solution you're aiming for. And this led us to the creation of Circuito with a real concrete offering and a simple mechanism to get it working. And of course, a lot more interest from the community because it's easier to know what's going on and understand and start using it. So that's where we are today.
That's super cool. And one of the really cool things about this for our community is that even if you've already built a project, you can put it into Circuito.io and get generate a fritzing schematic of it, which is something that you can export from Circuito. It gives you code, schematics, and a bill of materials and instructions, basically everything that makes a great Hackster project, because you're basically generating a tutorial on the fly. So I'm definitely looking forward to doing more integration with that. In the meantime, I'd love to share some of the cool projects that you've already done on Hackster, because the design is gorgeous and they're really adorable. So I'm going to pull those up real quick.
I know you're a big fan of the 345 pet.
The what?
The 345 pet, the weird little creature that you drag around you and it beeps.
Oh, yeah.
It's over here.
I'm not seeing that one real quick, but my favorite one over here is the running breadboard. Let me see if I can make this bigger for a second. Whoop. So this was the first one that I saw that I was just like, that's adorable. And just like, these people really put a lot of thought into design and stuff. So it's basically a huge version of the classic sort of brush bot design, with this custom 3D printed piece that gives it little legs that drive it forward. But you've mounted the entire breadboard on that, and it's so cute. And then each one of these just has an amazing tutorial on it. Like the red balloon is one that has sort of a social message as well as helping people learn how to build stuff. And it seems like a great thing for parents to do with their kids. Whoops. I love it. It's awesome.
We're really trying to use this platform to show off cool stuff you can do with the Makers technology. Yeah,
and it really shows like how valuable having like beautiful pictures and beautiful video is. It's so compelling. So cool. So what's your next step here? What are your next plans? Any announcements?
So we are working, as I said, all the time on adding more components into the system, adding more controllers. We want to expand the system as far as we can. The contributor component, be a part, add a part, be a part initiative is something new that we are doing, and it's only in the beginning of it, and really creating a community around this product and growing this together. And we are looking into interesting partnerships with either distributors or manufacturers of parts. We see ourselves as a tool that enables easy adaptation of new hardware, because when somebody comes to use a new hardware that they don't know, using Circuito makes this process a lot quicker and easier for them and more attractive to them. And of course, we are already cooking something very interesting with Hackster, which I'm really excited to see go live.
So exciting. Awesome. Well, it's definitely a sort of for makers, by makers, awesome tool that I hope people get to check out a little bit more in the coming days. Thanks so much for joining us. I know it's super late over there, but have a great night.
Thank you very much, Alex. It's been a pleasant interview.
All right, ciao.
No.